That's Alcatraz prison. And this is where most entrepreneurs are inside their business. They're in a prison, but in their mind. And in this video, I'm gonna break down with you the 3 blocks that are keeping you inside this prison, and then how to break free from these blocks that are slowing you down. In this video, you're gonna see countless testimonials of my clients that I've worked with, helping them get to 10, 50, and even 100K per month by removing these 3 blocks. So lock in, pay attention and focus, because this video is gonna allow you to scale your business by using one simple thing, the power of your mind. Let's get into it. Welcome to John Gab Mindset, where I help entrepreneurs and business owners make more money using the power of their mind. Let's jump into this video today. It's gonna be, as per usual, a banger. I'm gonna be dropping serious value for you guys, okay? If you watch my content, you will make more money. I guarantee you that right now. I would say arguably this channel and the information I share with you is the most valuable information out there for you to grow your business. And that's a bold claim, I know. But a business cannot be outgrown by the entrepreneur operating it. It's as simple as that. So listen, if you want to make more money, lock in and pay attention. If you don't and you want to stay stagnant, then don't watch my channel. The other thing I'm going to say as well is this, right? Yes, my main focus for you is to make more money, but the way in which I'm going to help you make more money is by becoming a better version of yourself. Because let me ask you this, right? Even if you're making 50K per month right now, or you're making good money online, okay? But you still snooze your alarm, or you're procrastinating, or you have bad habits, or you're not hitting the gym, whatever those things are that you value, but you're not doing them even though you're making money, bro, you lost. It's not about going after money. The reason I make my channel focused on money is because that's what you want, okay? And I need to almost wrap the garlic in bacon. If you've heard the analogy where there's, in fact, just watch my previous video. I think it's like 67 business lessons. Let me put it up real quick, hold on. Yeah, so go ahead and watch this video here. 67 lessons that took me from $0 to $1 million. Watch that video and I break the story down. Anyway, let's continue, all right? The point of the matter is, yeah, this channel is gonna help you make more money and it's gonna help you become a better person. It's an all-round win-win. Now, today's video is gonna be talking about the 3 blocks stopping you from 10 to 50K per month in your business. Now, the reason I made this video, because I was looking at my recent clients I've been working with, right? And this is just a few of them. This is just 6 of them out of the multiple clients I work with, and they are getting insane results. You can see, I'm gonna break them down, yeah, but I was like, it hit me. I was like, I am the best in this space at helping entrepreneurs with their mindset to make more money. Simple as that, right? So you have 3 blocks that are costing you anywhere between 10 to 50K per month, even more, right? I'm just making this the title for today's video, but it is going to be more, right? In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly why this is happening and how to fix it before it's too late. And then I'm going to show you how to scale to 10 to 50K per month or more in 90 days or less using a simple 3-step system. That's it. Now, you're going to be sitting there on the other side of this going, you know, you're going to be skeptical. You're going to be thinking, why does John make these videos? I make these videos for 2 reasons. 1 is to actually help you and provide value so you can get results. And 2, I want to get business from these videos. That's it. And on top of that, you have to apply to work with me. I'm not trying to sell you anything directly. When you reach out to me or my team, I'm going to ask you questions like, why should I work with you? Because when I work with people one-on-one, right, or when I work with people in a group setting, I don't like to work with people who I don't like or I don't get good energy from. So you have to tell me why you should work with me. I run a coaching business, a consulting business. It's not a course, right? That's not what I'm doing here, guys. So if you're skeptical, you're probably not going to become a client anyway, because that's the type of mindset I don't like to work with. But the point of the matter is, guys, just relax and lock in and just chill and pay attention, all right? Anyway, here's 5 reasons why you should lock in. Number 1, I've generated myself and my clients millions of dollars using the frameworks I'm going to share with you. At this point, I don't even know the specific number, but I could easily say upwards of $5 million between myself and my clients, yeah? And again, you'll see with the client results I'm going to break down. Number 2, I have coached thousands of entrepreneurs and high performers at this point. All right, I've worked in some of the biggest communities in the space, Iman Gadzhi, Charlie Morgan, which is another point. They hired me as their mindset coach. Question that. Why would two of the biggest names in the space hire somebody to teach mindset in their programs? Exactly, because they know it's powerful. I've collectively coached for 10,000 plus hours, which puts me literally at a level of mastery. And I've been studying this now for over 9 years on the topic of the subconscious mind and things inside of that realm. All right. So, like I said, over the past few months, I've been closely working with some of my clients, and I just want to share with you some of the results they've attained. And you can go and see the results on my testimonial page, John Gab Testimonials. These are real people, right? If you message me on Instagram, I can give you their contact information. They're real people, real results. You can see their video testimonials. I think there's 2 on here who I don't have video testimonials for yet. I will get one. But James, okay, he went from, before he started working with me, he was at $0, right? And now he's making $50K per month with his software company. Okay, it's called Frostmailer. And he's 19 years old, okay? And you can see his testimonial on my YouTube channel. Ethan was an agency owner, okay? I started working with him a long time ago. He joined Brotherhood, which still is my community, but now it's completely different from what it used to be. But either way, when I started speaking to him, he's at $50K per month. And I want to be fully transparent here as well, guys, and say, you know, Ethan, he did get other mentorship and join other programs, but I'm telling you now, the principles that I teach are foundational to people's success, right? I'm not going to dive into what I do, but you get my point. Calvin is one of my recent clients I worked with, and he went from basically working in a supermarket, right, making a few $100s a month, and he just had his first 10K month in business, all right, and he went from charging $500 for a website to $6,000 and quit his supermarket job. And I'm telling you, you'll see on the video testimonial, right, I'm going to do an interview with him. He didn't change anything other than his mind. That was it. He didn't change his outreach method. He didn't change his business model, nothing. He just changed his internal world, right? Simple. Melissa is a sales rep, right? And she's been, like, one of her problems she had was being able to close deals, and she feared rejection. The other day she posted in the group, she just closed a 30K deal, and there's other deals on there, like just massive deals she's been closing, 24K deals, because she shifted again her mindset. I'm not teaching these guys tactics. I'm not teaching them business hacks. I'm teaching them purely the mindset principles that I share with you. Another one, Daniel, he's a sales rep, all right? He went from 3K per month to having a $19,000 a month in his sales position, changing nothing other than his mindset. He didn't change position, didn't change opportunity, same position, same opportunity, went from 3K to 19K, okay? Kian, this is another one, yeah? E-commerce, he went from 0, broke, struggling, working on a supermarket job. He just sent me a video the other day. He's in Dubai, celebrating New Year's Eve, having a 60K month with his e-commerce business. So you can see, look, we've got a wide range: e-commerce, sales rep, website developer, software, agency owner. This shit works, guys. You know, and go to John Gab Testimonials, look at the testimonials, you will see we really do this. So, quite simply, I am the #1 mindset coach of entrepreneurs. It's undeniable, all right? Now, these are the 3 costly blocks that are slowing you down, all right? There was 3 main blocks they were experiencing, quite literally costing them thousands in their business, all right? Number 1, limiting beliefs. That's the first block, right? Now, number 2 is low frequency emotions, all right? And number 3 is bad habits. To simplify this, think of it like this, right? How you think will determine how you feel, and how you feel will determine how you act. That's it broken down. It's very simple. So understanding as well, what we think is going to be how we think about ourselves, and our self-image is what's going to govern our entire reality. But I'm not going to dive into that on this video right now. Now, breaking this down, like I said, how we think determines how we feel determines how we act. So what this in turn creates over time, what we think about become beliefs. These beliefs become embedded in our subconscious, which then are translated into emotions, and then they drive our actions, which is our habits. So let's break these down even more, okay? And so many of these concepts that I share with you guys, it's not just theory, it's years of understanding this at such a deep level and truly mastery of these concepts. Because the reality is, right, if it can't be explained simply, then the person does not understand it. And what I am very good at is simplifying these concepts down to very logical, just simple concepts that make complete sense, right? So your beliefs, you could call them your thoughts. Thoughts are energy, right? Energy is going to be translated into emotions, energy in motion, right? Which is our feelings. And then these emotions, all right, energy in motion creates motion, action, going out into the physical world, right? So let's break these all down. Number one, your belief. Now, like I said, yeah, the belief is always going to be about yourself, because understand, guys, right? The world is not as it is. The world is as you are. Okay? The world is as you are. Everything in this reality that you see is a perception. The perception is created from how you see yourself and how you feel about yourself. The person you see is the person you will be. From being, you do. From doing, you have. All right? So, the amount of belief you have determines the amount of potential you can tap into. Now, I'll prove this to you guys right now, yeah? Let's say you're trying to grow your business. And I say to you, I'm like, okay, do you believe that making 100K per month can be done? Right? You're going to say, yeah. I believe that can be done because I've seen other people do it. Do you believe that you can travel the world freely on your own schedule? Yeah, I've seen that because other people were doing it. Okay, cool. Do you believe that making $1 million in a year from an online business can be done? You're all going to say yes. Why? Because you know it can be done. You've seen it. You've seen other people doing it, right? The golden question I always ask people is this, right? Do you believe you can do it? And that is it. That's the only question you need to answer. Do you believe that you can do it? Because if you know that it can be done, right, and you're seeing other people doing it, but you're like, I can't seem to get towards that. Well, what is causing that? Is it the external or is it the internal? It's the internal, right? So you have a belief about yourself. Now, your beliefs, okay, they're going to be linked to, most people think it's like this, oh, I procrastinate, oh, I waste time, oh, I can't focus, right? This is not true. These are very convenient excuses and justifications as to why you don't take the action. But the belief is what is driving the behavior. Beliefs drive behavior. So you conveniently say to yourself, yeah, I procrastinate. Yeah, I can't focus. Whatever the story is you tell yourself, okay? But that belief is a cover-up for a deeper rooted belief. Okay, that excuse is just covering up the pain that you don't really want to face. Now, where this belief is going to be truly shown and being shown to you is going to be linked to, do you feel worthy of success? Do you believe you're deserving of success? Do you believe that it's for you? Right? These are the big ones. Do you believe you are good enough? Because if you are holding on to shame or guilt or whatever it might be surrounding the success you're moving towards, and you believe that if you achieve this, you're going to feel whatever, you won't move towards it. So what's going to happen is you're going to tap into limited potential. And tapping into this limited potential, all right, is going to determine the amount of action that you take, which will get the results that you're going after. And from this will determine your results. And the results are going to show back to you who you are. Remember, guys, the world is always going to show you who you are. The world is a mirror. Every single time I elevate and I grow in my life, in my success, in my business, whatever it might be, yes, there is always going to be a new skill set you need to learn or a new method or something along these lines. But my experience, and I believe if you go and ask most successful individuals, right, how much of it was mindset versus the tactics and the strategy? They're going to tell you, for me, 90% of it is mindset. It's my internal world. It's my belief system. It's my emotional state. It's my habits. It's me manifesting the external reality. And that's how I've always experienced it. So your beliefs, your thoughts, the energy you're putting out, right? Everything begins at a thought level, is going to drive this belief cycle. Okay, now let's break this down even more. Beliefs are literally energy-saving shortcuts designed to help you make decisions without having to think about it. Your brain simply wants you to be safe and save energy. Understand it does not care about your goals or dreams. It only cares about survival and efficiency. That is it, right? So if you say to me right now, you have these big goals and these big ambitions, but at some level, you are linking pain to it, or it's going to waste energy, or something along those lines, on a subconscious level, you will avoid moving towards it. You will avoid moving towards it. Simple as that. Your goal, and this is what I heavily work with my clients on, is you have to, it's critical, yeah? You have to identify these blind spots that are subconsciously holding you back from going towards your goal. Because we all know how it is, right? Every single entrepreneur or business owner watching this right now, you know what to do. You know the steps you need to take and the actions that you need to do to move towards that next level in your business. But there will be blind spots. Once I started to become aware of my blind spots, I level up every single time, right? And from doing that, I get to the next level and then I question, okay, what is a belief I have here that is not serving me? So as I hit my biggest milestone in business 2 months ago now, right? I was like, okay, well, it's time to grow this thing more. What are we going to do to grow this thing more? And we said, well, let's run some paid ads, right? Let's scale that aspect of the business, because that's our biggest bottleneck is lead flow. So when I started to think about that, I didn't just go out there and say, let me run paid ads. I started to question, what beliefs do I have around running ads? What emotions do I have surrounding running paid ads, right? And what I identified is that I had certain beliefs about running paid ads and certain fears around running paid ads. So if I had just gone in there, and 100% you have to go and take action, I'm not denying that, yeah? Because you should feel the fear and do it anyway. But I'm telling you guys, there are 2 ways you can go after your goals. One is from a place of forcing and pushing and going against resistance, or the other one is you go in a flow, right? And it's more effortless for you to move towards it. And all it comes down to is identifying a blind spot, removing it, replacing it with a new empowering one, and you will flow towards your goals. So for example, I'll give you an example for this specific one here with the paid ads. When I was thinking about the paid ads, I had a belief that I'm going to come across salesy, right? I'm going to come across needy, like I'm pitching people. And this was like just a block for me, because I don't want to come across like that. So what I realized, I was like, well, in the ads, all I need to do is go in with the intention of, I'm here to actually provide value. I'm here to help people. I'm here to improve their life and help them make more money. Just by having that shift in my belief, right? Changing the way I'm viewing it, change the way I feel about it, which is going to change the actions that I take. It's that simple. You have the belief, you have the emotion, you have the action. If the belief is a limiting belief and you have not even addressed the limiting belief, it will control your reality and you will say, oh, that's just how it is. And the thing about beliefs, right, is like I said, beliefs are not true in themselves, they become true in our experience if we believe them. So whatever you believe to be true will play out, because your mind always wants to prove you right. Like we said, it doesn't care about your goals and dreams, it cares about being safe and surviving and being efficient. So anything perceived, key word here, perceived as dangerous or as a threat or as something that could potentially harm you, it will avoid moving towards it. Okay? That's how the subconscious mind works. Anything that you perceive to take you away from that, it will subconsciously avoid moving towards it. And over time and repetition, these beliefs become so ingrained, you don't even question them. You don't even question them. Like I said with this quote, I see how I wrote all this out myself, right? This is not ChatGPT. This is all just from my mind. But you can see, even as I'm speaking through this, I'm speaking on things that I've already wrote down later on. Yeah? Now, your beliefs simply want to help you achieve success, but the question is, what do you even perceive as success, right? Because if you perceive success as something bad, subconsciously, you won't move towards it. It doesn't matter what it is, I don't care. I know so many people in so many different fields of making money, whether it be in trading, whether it be in entrepreneurship and business. If they have a perceived danger or simply put pain towards achieving their goal, they avoid it. It's that simple. They avoid moving towards the goal. Because at a subconscious level, humans do not want to go towards pain. We want to go towards pleasure. Even though we know if I do this action, it will allow me to have more of the things that I say I want. Because it's like little things like this, right? Let's say, for example, you say, okay, I want to make more money in my business, but you've made a lot of money. This is the biggest thing I see with most high-level entrepreneurs, right? They make a lot of money. They get into 50K a month, 100K per month, right? And they're still saying, I want to make more money. But they snooze their alarm. They skip their workouts. They eat shit food, right? They are not doing the things that they know are going to grow their business directly. And when I ask them, okay, why is that? It's because at some level, they know even if they make more money, it won't change how they fucking feel. So they know that even though they're saying they want more money, they know that it's not going to change them. And at a deep level, it's going to almost enforce more pain. Why is that? Because most entrepreneurs, the harder they work, right, the more stressed they are, right? They have to work more hours. And they're doing all of this for money. They're doing all of this to attain something that they know is not going to change them. Another big observation I've made after coaching many, many people now, and even what I observed in myself, most people have very weak reasons why and driving forces behind their goals. For example, they want to prove other people wrong, or they want to show others that they made it, or they want to buy materialistic things, for example. But these things are fleeting, yeah? Because once you achieve them, it's very short-lived. So then what happens is you achieve the goal, and then you say, well, that didn't really change me. That didn't make me feel any better. If anything, it will emphasize and highlight who you truly are. So on a subconscious level, what's happening here is you're attaching pain to moving towards your goal, and you attach more pleasure to staying where you are. Because let me ask you, times on your journey where you was crushing it and you was in a flow state and everything was going good, right? Did you have more pleasure attached to moving towards the goal than staying where you was? 100%. It wasn't a new tactic or strategy that made you move with more efficiency, was it? It was a shift in your mind, okay? So, now remember this, right? Your mind always wants to take the path of least resistance. It's wired that way. So it's not a question of what do I believe, but what do I want to believe? And this is a step I'm going to leave you with here, right? What do you want to believe about your business and about your success? Because if you can just change the belief, right, that's going to have a huge impact on your business. Now, again, think about it from very different angles, okay? What do you want to believe about making more money and growing your business? You want to believe that it's going to be easy and effortless. You will begin to believe that. But like I said, beliefs are not true in themselves. They become true in our experience if we believe them. We can quite literally change our beliefs and choose a specific belief. Okay, number 2 is emotions and feelings. This is huge, guys. And let's not get into the whole feelings and I feel like this, whatever. It's just look at it logically again. I'm a masculine man. I want to be logical, right? You are going to be operating from 2 core emotions, fear and love. Okay? Fear is doubt, worry, anxiety. Okay? Love is joy, peace, optimism, right? Excitement, faith, the good that's going to happen. If I was to ask you, how would you rather grow your business? From a place of fear or from a place of love? You're going to choose this one every single time. And when you operate from love, when you operate from these higher frequency emotions, which are the fruits of the Holy Spirit, which is from God, you are going to take way different actions towards growing your business, and you're going to attract different things into you. You all know, if you're an entrepreneur, the times when you're in a high frequency, you're in a peak state. Do you make more money? Yes, 100%. 100%. Now again, this isn't about doing, guys. This isn't about, I need to do more to feel good. It's about a state that you operate from, a beingness that you operate from, right? That is a choice that you have to make. Because you have to realize, yeah, when you come into this world, think about this. When you come into this world and you're born, are you in a high frequency, right? Feeling love, feeling peace, feeling joy, or are you in low frequency? High frequency, man. Look at any baby, any child. They're happy, they're joyful, they're running around, they're just being themselves. That is our natural state. So the more you can get back to this authenticity, the more you can love yourself, the more actions you're going to take in alignment with your higher self, and from that you're going to attract greater things into your reality and into your life, okay? It's that simple. Emotions are reactions to your thoughts. Again, how we think will determine how we feel. Yeah? Your nervous system processes your beliefs about a situation and generates an emotional response that drives you towards or away from something. If your subconscious beliefs say success is dangerous, your body will produce fear, anxiety, or overwhelm when the opportunities arise. These aren't random feelings, they're your system doing exactly what it's programmed to do. Protect you from perceived threats. Okay? The problem is low frequency emotions like fear, shame, guilt, and unworthiness keep you stuck in survival mode. When you're operating from these states, you make defensive decisions, procrastinate on high-level actions, and self-sabotage right before breakthroughs. Your emotions are outputs of your programming. All right? Change the beliefs, change the emotional frequency, change the actions that you take. This is why I'm saying to you guys, my program, right, what I work with people on is called a mind system. Because you have an input, you have a process, you have an output. So many entrepreneurs, they are trying to change the effect. They're trying to force their way towards their goals. Now, granted, that can work, right? You can push your way towards your goals. You can force your way towards your goals and you'll get results. But I'm telling you, I've met so many entrepreneurs making 50 or 100K per month. They are burned out, they are stressed out, they are unfulfilled, and they do not operate from love. Again, why is this important? Because I'm very certain most people watching this right now want to have a family. You want to have a wife or a husband, you want to have children, and you want to impact their lives in a good way, right? So let me ask you this. When you have your child and you see them when they're 2 or 3 years old and you have on a Rolex or you have millions in the bank, would your child even know what that means? No. They're only going to be aware of how you make them feel. And you can only make them feel how you feel, because energy is what we are transferring here. So if you're an entrepreneur and you only chase after money and you think that that's going to fix your problems, you couldn't be more deluded. Because if you operate from shame and guilt in growing your business, you do realize that's exactly what you're going to pass on to your child or your wife or whoever it might be, because that is the frequency you operate from. So this isn't about just growing your business. If I ask any entrepreneur or business owner watching this right now, why are you trying to grow your business? Is it so you can live a terrible life? So you can be unhappy? So you can be sad? No, it's so you can provide for your loved ones. It's so you can live your best life possible. But understand, wherever you go, there you are. All right? Wherever you go, there you are. And hedonic adaptation states that whatever you accomplish will become normal. If you go to a 5-star hotel for the first time, it's exciting. It's like, wow, this is crazy. Then after a few times of going there, it's normal. And this is again what I observe with all my clients. Every single time they hit a milestone, have their first big month in business, or they make a load of money, it becomes normal. And guess what you're left with? Yourself. You. This is why, business is a reflection of you. The biggest shift I had, one of the biggest shifts I had in my business was this, right? I stopped attaching my self-worth and how I feel about myself to the amount of money I made, right? Because I realized I was giving my power to a bit of paper or digits on a screen. And depending on how much money I made would determine how I felt as a person, as a child of God, okay? Again, my goal in life is to focus on my relationship with God, becoming the best version of myself, right? Operating from the fruits of the Holy Spirit, which is joy, love, and peace. And from that will impact everything I do in my life, whether that's my business, my fitness and health, whether that's my relationships. These are all secondary to me, because I'm not going to get to the end of my life and look back on my deathbed and say, I chased bits of paper and money, but I did not work on my relationship with God. I did not work on truly knowing the Holy Spirit and my highest, true, authentic self. Because at the end of the day, none of this matters. The money, the success, the business, none of it matters, does it? We don't take that to our grave. I know this is getting real deep, but it's facts. It's facts. So, your emotions are the outputs of your programming. Okay? Change the beliefs, change the emotional frequency. Again, so many entrepreneurs I speak to, yeah, what are they doing? They're building their business, they're growing their business from a place of lack, from a place of scarcity, from a place of unworthiness and not being good enough. So all you're doing, you have this weak foundation and you're just adding onto it, running from this. This is where people get programmed. They're like, oh, I'm not good enough. I don't feel like I love myself. Let me just go after money. Maybe that will fix the hole. So they go after money and they're like, oh, didn't change me. And then they look around them. They look at other aspects of their life. They look at their relationships, or they look at their health and fitness. They look at their overall mental health and state. And they're like, oh, these are all fucked. One of my favorite Bible verses, for what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world but lose his soul? Mark 8:36. Okay? And when you go down this path, yeah, man, you're going to be tested. Your ego's going to get checked because you've been operating from a paradigm of money, money, money. Let me chase more money. At what cost? My goal is to get you to become such a high level individual that you just are so unattached from the money and the success that it is drawn to you and you attract it. Okay? And here's the reality. What is for you will be yours. What you truly seek in your heart, God will bless you with. Yeah? You think that God is going to deny you of the things you ask for. The other thing adding on to this, guys, is in the Bible it says, your will, not mine, be done. If God tells you to slow down or whatever it might be, then you have to obey him. Because I'm seeing too many people, and I used to be like this as well. Oh, I believe in God. Okay, cool. But do you obey God? Do you obey God? Two different things. To believe in God and to obey him are two different things. So, yeah. Point is, guys, your emotions, how you feel, is going to drive the actions that you take. If you are operating from these low frequency emotions here, and you build your business on that, right? You are idolizing money and business over God. That's crazy to me, bro. That, like, you lost. You lost. Let me bring you to the other section of my Notion documents here, my Bible study. And let me bring up some more truth for you guys. Wow, I just feel so much power from this already, just going through this. Matthew 7:24 to 27, the wise and foolish builders. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall because it had its foundation on the rock. Everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. Now, when he's talking about the house, what do you think he's talking about here? He's talking about you, okay? And the kingdom of God is within you. So, when you hear God speak to you, you have to listen. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is why, again, these entrepreneurs, man, they're running, yeah? Just build, just grind, push more. Be burned out, be stressed, struggle. Why? It's not wants for you. And here's the reality. You know exactly where you are, right? You know that there's things that you're running from. You know that there are things that you're suppressing, pushing away. But there is a law of the subconscious mind which states that which is impressed will be expressed. It has to find a way out. So if you do not process this now, it will find a way. Whether it's in a few months from now, whether it's in a year from now, whether it's in 5 years from now, it will find a way to be expressed. And you think you can just cover it up by making more money, chasing more success. It will find you. This is why, again, you have to understand that when we're talking about business and money, yeah, like I said, my goal is to help entrepreneurs and business owners. But how we are going to do that is by elevating you as an individual, by you becoming the best version of yourself, and by you building the foundation on a strong, solid one, not a weak one. If you build your foundation on bits of paper and digits on a screen, you are fucked. There's another Bible verse, and it is, he who builds, I can't remember it word for word, but basically it's like, if you build without the Lord, you're building in vain, right? You're building in vain. And this is what I experienced on my journey as well, is that I would build on weak foundations, and it would always seem to find a way to come crashing down. It would always seem to find a way. I'd be like, why is it? I'm not disciplined. And as I've gone through my journey and worked on myself more and more and more, I've realized, no. It's simply because I was not seeking the kingdom of heaven and his righteousness. When I started to seek the kingdom of heaven and his righteousness, all of these things were added unto me. All right? Anyway, let me get back to the main point of this video. So, emotions drive our behavior. This leads to our actions, habits, motion, right? None of these brothers got motion like John Gab. That's facts. I know my videos, my content, my message is the best in this space, right? And you know that too. Anyway, here is a diagram of how habits are formed. So essentially, when you start to learn a habit, you have to think about it. So your brain is active, it's thinking, and then eventually it just shuts down. So it's like, okay, learns a behavior, it shuts down, right? Then it spikes back up again. And you go, you know when you do something, why did I do that? Because your brain shut down and then it becomes aware again. It's like, damn, you know? That's why you keep doing the same thing when you know you shouldn't be doing it, because you have a habit. So habits are automatic actions that follow your emotions. Once your belief generates an emotion, that emotion drives behavior, and when repeated enough times, the behavior becomes a habit. You don't even consciously have to think about it. This is where the think, feel, act cycle completes itself, and it becoming a flywheel, right? It becomes a flywheel. So how you think determines how you feel determines how you act determines how you think determines how you feel. You get the point. How you feel determines how you act. It all loops in together. But the foundation of it is how you think about stuff. If you don't change the thoughts, then the feelings will never change and the actions will never change. And again, people might disagree with this, right? I've seen different people, different point of views and whatever, but it's like this. If you don't address the root cause and you just try to change the feeling, it's like, what are we trying to move it towards? Like, how can we create something if we don't even know what that looks like? Every change in our reality first begins with a change of the images we hold in our mind, right? You have to change the mental imagery. And understand this as well, guys, right? If I say to you, for example, Je m'appelle John. Some of you might know what that means, right? But some of you might not know what it means. And it means my name is John in French. The point is, words don't mean anything to the mind. Okay? I'll give you another point in fact. If I say to you the word coffee, what comes to mind? Some of you are going to think of Starbucks. Some of you are going to think of working. Some of you are going to think of energy. The point is, the word creates images. Those images create feelings, okay? So understanding that to change your life, you have to change the way you think about things. Think of it again like this, right? Look at situations in your life that once triggered you or once had an impact on your life, but they no longer do. Did the situation change? No. What changed was your perception around it. You started to think differently about it. This in turn changed the way you felt about it, okay? Which in turn changed the way you took actions. That simple. So if you believe, for example, I'm not good enough, that is a thought, and you feel anxious or insecure, an emotion, so you procrastinate, play small, or avoid putting yourself out there, habit. If you do this enough times, it becomes your default operating system. So let's say, for example, right, you run a business and you want to raise your prices, and you know you can, and you know your value's there, but secretly deep down you don't feel worthy of that. You're like, I don't know if I can do that, so you don't do it. And you get on a sales call, for example, and even if you say the price, you feel the resistance within you, right? You know what I'm talking about. Why is that? Because your feelings are what's driving you, and people feel energy, right? Especially in sales, it's a transfer of energy. Go and watch my sales training on this channel, one of the best sales trainings out there. Watch that and you understand more, but it's transfer of energy. But understand as well, the universe, it understands energy as well. It understands the frequency you are emitting, right? Thinking is energy, feelings are frequency, and then the vibrational match will occur in this physical reality we live. So if you don't change the input, which is your thoughts, energy, then the output is going to be wrong as well. People try to change the cause. They try to change the effect, but they don't try and change the cause. They are the cause, right? So your brain loves habits because they require zero mental energy. Once something becomes habitual, it runs on autopilot, which is great if the habit serves you, but if it doesn't, then it's terrible, right? If you have a habit that's taking you away from your goal and you keep trying to change it, it's going to slow you down, man. It's going to take you away from living your best life. Now, the entrepreneurs I work with aren't lazy or lack discipline. That's what, like, most people think, oh, I'm lazy, I lack discipline. Like, no, that's not it. That's not it. You've just got habits wired from old programming, which are beliefs, which have now shaped your emotions, which drive behaviors, like checking Instagram, snoozing your alarm, whatever it might be. Staying busy instead of productive, just the general things that you're like, fuck, I know what I need to do, but you can't break through it. Bad habits aren't a willpower problem, they're an identity problem, right? You can't out-discipline the subconscious programming. When your identity changes at the root level, the habits that don't match who you're becoming naturally fall away and new ones emerge effortlessly. As you can see here in this diagram, this is from a book called Atomic Habits, and you can see most people, they focus on outcomes. And then you achieve certain outcomes, you're like, let me focus more on the process, routines, discipline, whatever it might be, right? Waking up on time. But if you just work on the identity, I am this type of person, the process will take care of itself, the outcomes will take care of itself. That's how it works, right? Cause and effect. But most people try to change the effect without changing the cause. So they push using willpower, but then they hit a roadblock because it ain't working with the cause. If you take care of the cause, this will naturally be taken care of. Now, understanding, this all happens at a subconscious level. This is all happening beneath the surface, governing 90% of your reality and the results you are achieving. Conscious mind is 10%. Subconscious mind is 90%. It's that simple. You're trying to look for the answer to take your business and grow your business and make more money. And you're like, how? This is it. Work with your subconscious mind and shift the 3 blocks we just spoke about. Your beliefs, your emotions, and your habits. If you don't change these things, I guarantee you now, you are fucking leaving money on the table. It's as simple as that. So if you want to change that, reach out to me on Instagram, John Gab Mindset, DM me on there, and we will talk about how I can help you further. Other than that, God bless, and I'll see you in the next one.